Hi, my name is Amanda, and this is my abortion story. My childhood was a fairly decent childhood. I had a very loving and supportive mother and a twin sister who I was very close to. When I turned about 19 years old, I started restricting my diet and the intake of my calories, and I started into a severe eating disorder, which lasted close to about 7 years. Being introduced into a church and Accelerate Recovery truly changed my life. And I also started really truly working on a relationship with God at that time. I continue surrounding myself with Accelerate Recovery and really focusing on my recovery with my eating disorder. When I turned about 30 years old, I started dating someone and I found out within a few weeks that I was pregnant. I truly was so scared. It took me a few hours to take the pregnancy test. I remember praying, and I remember just being so scared about what I was going to do if I found out I was pregnant. When I found out that I was pregnant and the results came back positive, I was so scared. I then went and told my boyfriend, and he told me that he's going to be there to support me no matter what, and that it was my decision and my body. The church that I was involved in at that time was very judgmental and treated someone who found out she was pregnant very terribly, and it really scared me. I don't remember much of the next few weeks during my pregnancy. I had scheduled my appointment, and my scheduled appointment date was December 28, 2020. I remember those few weeks feeling very sick and barely be able to get off the couch. I never have felt so sick in my entire life. I remember going back and forth about what the best decision for my life would be, and should I keep this pregnancy. I was still living at home. I was not in a good spot financially. My boyfriend was still living at home with his father, and just trying to figure out what was the best decision for my life and for my future going forward. I also remember feeling like my sister had just had to have a D&C and went through a very traumatic, stressful pregnancy, and I didn't want to take away from what my family and my sister was going through at that time. I remember having to go into the appointment alone because it was in the middle of COVID, and I was very scared and very confused and really not sure what I was going to do. I remember that making me take my weight. I remember telling the lady that I'm in recovery for an eating disorder and to please not tell me what my weight was, because it was one of my triggers with my eating disorder when it comes to the scale. I remember the lady not listening and disregarding what I had to say, and for the first time in years having to know what my weight was really hard, and it made knowing that I was pregnant so much harder. I remember wishing that my boyfriend was there during that time, and then I had someone to be there to support me during this appointment. And I really honestly was hoping that my boyfriend would tell me that he wanted me to go through this with this pregnancy, and that we would get through this together. I was as sick as I've ever been in that night. I can't even explain how sick I felt, and feeling like I had a fever, and I was so sick. And I remember watching a big clump of blood go into the toilet, and realizing, what did I just do? What did I just do to my precious baby? I never wished this night on anybody. It honestly was one of the worst nights of my life. I knew deep down I made the biggest decision, the worst decision and biggest decision of my life, and wishing that I could have rewound the clock and turned back the time. The next few years, I truly changed into someone that I was not proud of. I was cold and distant. I didn't spend much time with my family and friends. I remember turning my life away from God. I remember not having joy and zest for life. I remember becoming very suicidal and very depressed and thinking about the ways that I was going to commit suicide. I lied to my family and friends about the reason that I had the abortion and told them that it was medical based, which was not true. That was truly one of the worst regrets I have through this whole pregnancy, is lying to the people that I love the most about why I had this abortion. But I know that it was shame and guilt and a lot of different emotions that made me do that. I had a really hard time being around my niece, who would have been around the same age as my daughter. It was bittersweet watching my niece have all those milestones and being able to be a part of her life. But it was truly hard because I knew that I would never get to experience having my daughter grow up and watching all her milestones. I truly think about my child and my daughter every single day, and I wish I could have my daughter here with me. I truly wish that I could watch her grow up and be that mother that I know that God wanted me to be. Not Forgotten Ministry has truly changed my life and allowed me to help me to find joy and a purpose for my life again. I started being a part of the Not Alone program and being introduced into a sister who truly helped change my life and start coming out of my shell and truly helped me start my healing journey. That Bible study was one of the best decisions that I've ever made. The Alive Again retreats are the most impactful and life-changing retreats that anybody can ever be a part of. Something I can't even explain to somebody unless you actually participate in one of those. I truly walked out of that retreat not the same person as I walked in. I was able to let go of shame and guilt and unforgiveness for others and for myself. But something that I was still struggling with when I left as a participant is I truly didn't feel like my daughter had forgiven me for aborting her and ending her precious life. When I participated as a volunteer, I was finally able to hear my daughter say, "I forgive you, Mommy." And that was the most profound and special moment of my life, and something that I waited 4 years to truly hear that I was forgiven. I knew I was forgiven from God, but knowing that my daughter had forgiven me was something that I truly needed to hear. Being a part of this ministry for the last 2 years has been something that has changed my life in way more ways than I can ever imagine. These women are the most supportive and amazing women that I've ever encountered in my life. They are the most non-judgmental and loving women, and truly just want to help others come to show them that God loves them and God loves their baby, and that God forgives us and our babies forgive us. My favorite parts of my days now are being able to watch my niece grow up and experience seeing who God created her to be is so special. And I love being an aunt. After being a part of Not Forgotten Ministries, I have a new purpose and joy for my life. My dream and my purpose is to open a pregnancy resource center, and I want to use my story and what I've been through to help somebody Because if I can just help one person not have to experience what I went through, and not have to experience the pain of not having your child a part of your life, then I know that God can redeem me and use my story. I'm so proud of being a part of this ministry. And I will spend every one of my days telling people how amazing this ministry is. And how amazing I feel in knowing that I have a God who loves me. And that one day I will get to see my daughter. Is something that I'm so thankful for. And it's all thanks to this ministry.